Well, hello, Broadway fans. Okay. So I am fresh from the shower, did my skincare routine. That's why I'm all shiny. And I'm just wearing my t shirt. Okay. So in my home, because about half of the videos that I did on my most recent New York trip did not load. So I'm just going to review my recent New York trip with you. One thing I'll share with you, I did not see near as many shows as I wanted to, and I hope to. What I have found, because that was a very long trip, it was 12 days long, including travel days. And about halfway through, I bottomed out. And my very good friend and theater aficionado and director and actor, Jill B. Herkel, because we talk every day, she's my rock. And she pointed out, because I was telling her I'm low, I can't get out of bed. Because I have shared with you guys I battled depression. And she said every time you do a long trip to New York, this happens, and she's right. And so I'm figuring it out that I can't do that. It's a lot of weight, emotionally weight on me. So I'm gonna have more trips, but just shorter, like a week or less. So anyway, I want to go through the shows that I did see and share with you. We're all getting excited about the Tony Awards, and I'm excited about some of it. Some of it I'm not that excited about. But anyway, so the first show I saw was Suffs. Suffs is a phenomenal musical, you guys. It really, really is. And it's an important, relevant musical. I did do a video on that. That is up. It has a great cast. Nikki M. James. Oh, I have a Nikki M. James story for you, but not yet. Um, but she's actually nominated for a Tony Award. The author, Shayna Taub, she's only the second woman in history to write the book, the music, the score, and star in the show. And she's nominated. Jen Colella's in it, and Emily Skinner, who I love. Emily Skinner. Emily Skinner was my favorite part of the musical New York, New York. I only had two favorite parts of the musical New York, New York. Emily Skinner, and when Colton Ryan sang It's a Quiet Thing. That was it. And I just love Emily Skinner. I'm a big fan. So Suffs, go see it. Okay, it's a really good fun. It's a serious material, but it's not heavy. It's not a heavy show at all, you guys. Okay. Speaking of heavy, Appropriate. Now this was a video that I did on my phone. Never could make it work. Okay, you guys. Now this is closing very soon, so run, get a ticket. I wish I could see it a second time. It's nominated for Best Play. Sarah Paulson is nominated for Best Lead Actress. Corey Stoll is nominated as supporting role. I'm really disappointed that the guy that plays her son, Graham Campbell, didn't get some type of nomination also. He is phenomenal. He plays the teenager, and he plays it so perfectly well that you forget that he's acting. He's not. He's really phenomenal, and he has a real beauty and a sincerity to him. I look forward to seeing. This is his Broadway debut, and I look forward to seeing him. But this show, this play, is all about serious, effed up family crap. Take the play, August Osage County, and magnify it 20 times. That's this family, okay? And yet it is hysterical. You die laughing, but you're laughing going, oh no. It is so good, you guys. And Sarah Paulson is a force. She spends the entire first act up here. And at intermission, I kind of went, there really wasn't any levels. She was all up here. In the second act, we see the levels, and you get to find out why. That first act was all up, but she's on stage, I think, the entire first act, or almost the entire first act, and she is screaming and yelling. The intensity that she maintains, whoo, girl, it was awesome. Go see Appropriate while it is still available. It's a nominee for Best Play Revival. It's going to be my choice. Okay. Next, I saw The Notebook. Never saw the movie, never read the book. I really had no idea what I was getting going into it, okay? I liked it. It was good. Notable performances: Miriam Pluckett as old, um, whatever the character's name is. See, I can't even remember. Um, sorry, Allie. And she was brilliant. Um, and she portrayed a woman with Alzheimer's, but she didn't do it stereotypically. She did it real. And her facial gestures and her, because there was so much you can read into that. It was just a gorgeous performance by Miriam Plunkett, and also the young Noah, and it's his Broadway debut, John Cardoza. Y'all, his range, he amazing vocals, amazing vocals. I can't wait to see more that John Cardoza is in. Ryan Vasquez was all the big talk. I wasn't that impressed with him. No offense, Ryan. You were great. I mean, I enjoyed it. A lovely show, very heavy, very sad. Be ready for it, okay? But a good show. I recommend it. Okay, speaking of heavy, every season there is one. A really heavy, good drama. Patriots. The story of what's his name, Vladimir Putin, and how he came to power, and how he got put in power by all these rich oligarchs, played brilliantly by Michael Stuhlbarg. Is that how you say his name? He plays the I can never remember his name. Bazorski. I can't remember the guy's name, but he plays the rich Russian who gets Putin to power, and then Putin screws everybody. I do want to say Will Keane played Putin, because he starts one way and then Putin is very different at the end of the play, and it kept being subtle changes, and it was physical, it was vocal, it was everything. Wonderful job. And also an actor I've never seen before, Luke Fallon, plays one more major character in it. Here's where my Nikki M. James story comes through. This was a Monday matinee. I've seen 270 Broadway shows, never been to a Monday matinee. Monday matinee, I'm on the aisle, because I'm sitting on the aisle, and here comes a couple, they need to get in, so I stand up to let them in, and the woman is wearing this gorgeous red dress, and I'm like, ooh, that's a gorgeous dress. She's like, thank you. And we meet eyes, and I instinctively went, I know her. And so then I got really into the play. This play, you guys, is a heavy drama. It is. But there was humor in it. And what I will tell you about this play is I am an experienced theater goer. I know when it's about intermission time. I know when it's coming. When they went to intermission, I went, have we been here that long? The time flew. People go, oh, I don't want to go to a drama. I'll be bored. My ADD, my blah, blah, blah. Go see Patriots. It is so good. And it's educational, but it's relevant. It's moving. It's a really good, but the performances, the set, and the way they do it, so good. Amazing. So my Nikki M. James story. So, okay, you probably already figured it out. The woman was Nikki M. James, and the guy's sitting next to me, and she's sitting next to him, so she's right there. And so during intermission, once I realized it was intermission, I get on my phone, and I'm like, I'm sure that's her, but I gotta make sure, right? I don't want to embarrass myself. So I Google, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's her. So, we're all the way down at the front. We're like third or fourth row. And one of the things about sitting down front, I love sitting down front, but one of the, for most shows, we're going to get there. One of the downsides of it is you now have to stay, when the show is over, you have to stand in the aisle and turtle slowly walk because everybody gets out ahead of you, right? So we're standing next to each other, and I say, hi, you're Nikki M. James. She's like, yes. I said, oh, Suffs, you are amazing. And I talked to her. She's like, oh, you saw it. I said, just Friday night. I said, oh, it was so good. And I told her, now, you guys, hopefully you know this about Nikki M. James. She won a Tony Award for Book of Mormon. And her Tony Award speech, and I said this to her, I said, I have to also tell you, your Tony Award speech, when you won the Tony, is still one of my all-time favorite Broadway moments. Tony Award moments. And she's like, oh, I'm like, the bumblebees. I said, you're probably sick of hearing that. She said, no, I'm never sick of hearing that. She was so sweet, so genuine. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, bumblebees, I don't want to ruin it for you. What I want you to do, as soon as you're done listening to me, Oh wow, I still have waste. As soon as you're done listening to me, I want you to YouTube Nikki M. James Tony Award and watch her acceptance speech, and you'll understand bumblebees and grab a tissue. Okay, so then we're walking up the aisle. We've got all this time, and she's asking all about me. She's so sweet, and she's like, "What do you do? And how many? What other shows are you seeing? And blah blah blah." Really, such a genuine, real person, and yet on stage she is just like, well, at least in Suffs, she is this presence in Suffs. So anyway, now there is a video about the next show, The Heart of Rock and Roll. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. I'm blushing just remembering it. One of the most amazing things that has ever happened to me in a theater happened in this show. And it's silly. Well, it's not silly. It's real. Corey Cott, as an actor, I'm not going to go into what happened. You have to go watch that video. And I don't get any money when y'all watch my videos, okay? So I'm not plugging. Corey Cott as the lead in this show, Heart of Rock and Roll, using the music of Huey Lewis and the News. He gives a performance that I am insulted for him that he is not nominated for a Tony. I've seen him in several shows. He is an amazing talent. He has a phenomenal voice, but he left everything on that stage. You saw his guts, well, his character's guts. I mean, he just poured it all out there. And he's sexy as hell and has amazing arms, and you see him all through the show. The rest of the show's kind of okay. You want something light, you want something fun, you want something that's not going to bring you down, go see it. It's a fun show. It's campy. It's a very predictable story. The rest of the cast is very good. The ensemble's really strong. But his performance alone is worth seeing. It's worth the ticket price, I meant to say. But it's a fun show. It really is, and I encourage people to go see it. Next, I saw The Outsiders, okay? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on The Outsiders. Again, never saw the movie, never read the book. I know, my age, and never read this book. I didn't. I don't know how that happened. I'm good. I ordered it. I have it. I'm reading it. Well, I haven't started yet, but I'm going to. I was amazed and annoyed through the entire show. I loved it. Go see it. The second act is much better than the first act. Do not sit down front. That was one of the annoying things. For some reason, they have the entire stage covered in gravel, and for some reason, the choreographer has these guys dancing, and they do amazing dancing and tons of athletic, physical, macho dancing, but they are sliding in that gravel and just spewing the audience with gravel, and it's deliberate. And it happens over and over and over. And I was annoyed and pissed off, okay? I'm covered in gravel. I'm shaking I took my coat and covered myself because I dress for the theater. And so that was very annoying. I was very disappointed in Brody Grant, the lead, who plays Ponyboy. He is definitely a product of his generation, and his singing is, he doesn't enunciate. He does this. I don't hear the consonants. I can't understand him. So when you can't understand the songs in a musical, why are you there? Okay, so that's one thing. And it may have been just the night I was there. The other thing, he played Ponyboy. Brody Grant, I can tell you, plays a tortured soul really well. But that's all it was. It was one-dimensional tortured boy. It was not more than that. I don't know how he got nominated. I don't understand it. I was thoroughly unimpressed with his performance. Now, the show, I think, is amazing. Really well done. I hated the choreography. The fight in Act 2, there's a huge fight scene that I was like, oh, it was amazing. So that scene alone is worth the ticket. So go see Outsiders. And maybe he just had an off night. Brody Grant, right? Did I say it right? Yeah. Maybe he had an off night. That can happen. But he carries the show, so that's hard. All right. I went to see Back to the Future. I'm not even going to hold the playbill up. I have never, ever ever in my life walked out on a professional Broadway show. I walked out. I was angry. I was insulted. It does not belong on Broadway. It belongs at Disney World. It feels like a ride at Disney World with live act. It was all spectacle and no depth. Couldn't understand them. The music's cranked up to here. The Winter Garden Theater looks like a spaceship, like a ride. It does. They did a real good job with that. Couldn't understand the guy playing the Michael J. Fox role. It was not well done. I get very angry. I understand that musicals, especially when they have a lot of dancing, they have to give the choral, the ensemble, some backup tracks, and they use backup tracks, and sometimes they're dancing and lip syncing. I get that. I don't like it because it hasn't always been that way, but I get that that's happening. You don't have to be obvious about it. The dancers were literally not even lip syncing. I'm sitting close enough that I can tell there's no sound coming out of them. So that's what offends me when I pay that much money for a show on Broadway. That offends me. I found the show, I literally, it got worse and worse and worse. So they're doing this number, something about the boy, and it's a big group number, and I can't even follow it. And I'm like, enough, I'm going. I get up and I leave. I didn't realize that was right before intermission because the ushers and all were like, oh, we're opening the doors and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm leaving. I know it's got an audience. I know there are people for it. I will tell you that there was a lot of young kids, and I do love seeing young kids at the theater. But when they see something like this, and then they go to see real art, they're just, this cannot make it because of shit like this on Broadway. That's my opinion. Okay, and y'all can hate me right now. You can get rid of me. This is what I believe is the best musical of the year. It is art, and it breaks my heart that it is closing on the 17th of May. If you can go see it, I wish I could afford to go back to New York even for 2 nights because it would take a travel night and then go see the show. I wish I could see the show one more time. It blew me away. It is art. It is creativity. It is true talent. You understood every word. That ensemble was singing their ass off while dancing their ass off. The costumes were amazing. The costumes blew me away. The set, the vision. Rachel Chavkin, I adore you. I love you. You're brilliant. I think the critics in a crowded season of other stuff did not want something like this that is true art. And so that really hurt it. And I'm sad. Eden Espinosa, I didn't see every single person who's nominated for leading female musical Tony Award. I didn't see all of them. I've seen most of them. This is definitely a Tony winning performance. She is insanely fantastic and real and good. Amber Iman, she was phenomenal. I still want Lindsay Mendez from Merrily, you know that. But she was phenomenal. And Beth Level in this broke my heart. I'm so sad that this show isn't getting a better ride. But there it is. That was my trip, you guys. I didn't intend to get emotional like I did. But that was the trip. Those were probably my top 2 favorite. I didn't intend to do that, but I just did. With Suffs and Patriots, it's hard to compare Suffs to Lempicka, okay? Because they're so different, but both very good, excellent. One of those two, it's just, wow, great. All right, so that's my recap of my trip. Thanks for sticking with me. I know this was a long one. And I am thinking about doing one about the Tony Awards, maybe doing some predictions and maybe doing some of my highlights and what I hope would win. You know, I'll just say right now, I'm very, very upset that that Chip Zien from Harmony and Liam Pierce from How to Dance in Ohio were not in the nominees for Best Actor in a musical. However, I do want Jonathan Groff to win. So, but anyway, let me know if you would be interested in that. All right? Because it would probably be along like this too. Because I don't can't be brief. So, anyway, from my home late at night, that's my trip in review. Thank you for sticking with Theater Talks with Scott, and I will see you at the theater.